What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Kardiac K back here with another video on the channel. And this week I want to talk about something different. I want to talk about a series I just read and finished, and that is Tokyo Revengers. Tokyo Revengers is a series that I've been reading recently, and I just caught up. I read at a breakneck pace, which I go to school 8 hours a day, so this is crazy. But I read 200 chapters in 4 days of Tokyo Revengers straight, and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about how great it is. I want to talk about my transition from anime to manga, and I want to analyze it a little bit. Hope y'all like this video. And first things first, though, gotta like the video, gotta comment, gotta subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you're old, if you're in between. I don't care. Subscribe. Leave a like, comment if you have any suggestions on how to upgrade the equipment. If you have any suggestions on what I should talk about next, and stick around until the end because I have a pretty big announcement that's going to decide the future direction of the channel, and I want to let some of you guys know, so stick around until the end. A month from this video, expect a new intro, and if there isn't, spam my mentions on Twitter. I give you permission. Hey, future Cardiac here. Just a little interjection. Go ahead and check out the boy River and Timmy on the Flow. I was on the latest episode of theirs. I'm gonna leave their channel in the card above and in the description. So check out their podcasts. I was featured on there. They make great anime content, hour-plus long podcasts. They're amazing. Check out the boys. But getting into Tokyo Revengers, the series. Tokyo Revengers is a story that is very complicated, but the simple premise centers around the guy Takemichi, Hanagaki Takemichi, who is 26 years old. He's a loser, just a basic, what you would think of potential isekai protagonist. That's Takemichi, and Takemichi's 26 and he's watching the news. He just came back from his day job at a bookstore, and he looks at the news and he finds out that his middle school sweetheart has just died. As a result of this, some other things happen, and he finds himself about to get on the bus, where he's pushed from behind onto the train tracks and is subsequently killed. Or so we think. You see, Takemichi was pulled up by his middle school girlfriend's brother, who is now a police officer, and asked Takemichi to investigate his sister's murder. But for this to happen, we learn that Takemichi will gain the ability from shaking her brother's hand to go back in time 12 years previous to when we are in the present, where he was in middle school. And this is the jumping place of the story, with the time jumping back and forth, and we follow Takemichi as he is trying to save his middle school girlfriend in the future, and he is thrust into the gang war and the gang violences of Tokyo, Japan. And through this, we follow Takemichi's trials and tribulations through the past, through the present, through everything in between, to saving as many people as he cares about as possible. Now that's as far as I'll go without spoilers. So here's a spoiler warning for anyone who needs it, that I will be jumping into spoilers for the anime first, and then I will alert you when I will be talking about the manga. We're going to start with Takemichi, the main character himself, who I hated. I hated Takemichi when I was done with the anime. When I watched those 22 episodes, thought he was a whiny bee. He was a loser. I don't like losers in anime. Constantly complained. He was constantly crying. He reminded me of Deku and all the worst parts of Deku, which is all of Deku. But beyond him, he's a small part of the story. Truth be told, if you've seen the anime, you know he's the driving force for a lot of things, but he's mainly the vehicle that we're viewing the story from, at least in the anime so far. Very intrigued and interested at the gang atmosphere of Japan. Viewing Toman, the dichotomy of the violent side of everybody, from Draken to Mikey to Mitsuya to from Pa and Pei to the other gangs that we meet in the anime. I can't remember any of their names because there's so many more in the manga. But just staying within the anime, it's the dichotomy between we're viewing a gang and we're in a gang and we see gangs, but they're good people. And the subversion of just basic expectations of gang life and gang culture, it's great to me. I like that subversion. I like that dichotomy. The unveiling of the different plot revelations and mysteries from using the time jumping and the time travel as the vehicle for all of that, I think is very, very, very good. It's very intriguing, and it keeps me connected even when Takemichi comes back to reality, to current time. And it provides even more context for him going back in time and adds even more importance, because we know that the next time he comes back to the present, we have no idea how those events are going to transpire. And along with that, it's very realistic with the way that he's set in his own body back in time with present day knowledge, but knowing that he can't say anything. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of, you know, the consequences that he has to deal with and the responsibility that he feels on his shoulders weighing down on him every time he's around someone that he knows in the future plays a pivotal role in the way that his life is now. Whether that be his girlfriend, whether that be Mikey, whether that be Draken, and the connections that he builds with these people, it only adds more weight and more connection that he feels, and more responsibility that he feels being the only person that can do the things that he does. Last couple things about the anime. The fights are amazing, and Mikey's great. The fights, the choreography, the animation, it's so good. Every punch packs weight, and it's amazing. And if you want to know my other thoughts on basically the things in the first half of the anime, I talked about that in one of my quick videos a couple weeks ago, where I was talking about Tokyo Revengers and Chainsaw Man in the same video. So check that one out if you want to know my further thoughts into the season. But going into the manga, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. The art in the manga is drawn magnificently. It's amazing. It's one of the best looking manga that I've seen. Granted, I haven't read a lot of manga, but I've seen quite a bit of panels, and it's one of the beautiful. It's beautifully simplistic. I truly see what Bleach fans are talking about, because it's not in Bleach. It's in here. Tokyo Revengers pulls off white space beautifully, amazingly. Only seen in the chapters of Tokyo Ghoul. And yes, I'll give Bleach its credit. Sure, why the fuck not? But also, it has Naruto level detail in the way that it's drawn. I love it. I love the illustration. And I'm not an art person by any means. I don't connect to art unless it's a manga. And you know, the Tokyo Revengers is good. Second point. Let me refute my first point for the anime. I love Takemichi. I hated Takemichi. He's actually a pretty good written main character who actually struggles, unlike Deku. We actually see his struggles. We see his doubts of his decisions. And he makes actual selfless actions instead of just self-sacrificing decisions, while still being able to think through things without having it be told to him what to do, because he's all alone. The load that he carries from arc to arc, from episode to episode, from chapter to chapter, is ever increasingly weighing more on him with the more connections that he makes to people in the past, and the more circumstances change, and every checkpoint that he goes back comes back to the present and goes back. It serves as a new mission for him, and it's always more responsibility that he needs to contain in his head, and for the most part can only say to himself. It's amazing how realistic the struggle is for him being the only person that knows the secret, until of course he tells Chifuyu, who, by the way, Chifuyu is best boy. With the increasing level of circumstances changing from timeline to timeline, sometimes Toman is just not anymore. Sometimes Toman is evil. Sometimes it's Mikey. Sometimes it's not Mikey. Sometimes it's because of Izuna. Sometimes it's because of Chizaki and Chizaki's death. Man, in the unraveling of Mikey's distrust of him, and the entire gang world just, man, imploding right on his head, and between him and Hanma and their plots and things, and oh my god, it's so beautiful, it's so great. I can't put it into words how much I love this story and how much I love these characters. Oh man, the thing that I think Tokyo Revengers will go down in history for is the one-on-one character interactions, whether it's between Chifuyu and Takemichi, whether it's between Mikey and Draken, whether it's the heart-wrenching emotion that you get from every conversation of Takemichi talking to his girlfriend. No, I can't remember her name. Every discussion, every one-on-one character interaction is either felt with such tension that when you're reading it, you have no idea what you're about to turn the page to and what you're about to be faced with heart-wrenchingly or desperately. And it makes for amazing interactions because of the weight of each and every conversation and word coming from these characters that we learn so much about, with the increasing characterization and background information on each of these characters. Whether it's like Mitsuya is just great. Mitsuya is amazing. He's fantastic. And the entire Sano family, actually being important to the greater gang world. Finding out that basically everything stems from the fact that Mikey's brother was the guy to usher in this era. Regardless of the present times in Takemichi's, present, the current gang world is because of Mikey's brother, because he founded the Black Dragons, and because of who he was as a charismatic leader, caused every single one of the events that we've seen in every single timeline to happen. Everybody was impacted by that, and because of that, Mikey and his family, and therefore Toman, is at the center of it, justifying every situation that we find ourselves in the totality of the series. It's amazing how these branches spread out in the series in such a convoluted yet sense-making way. Like, everything makes sense, it all ties together, it's still a tight-knit script and plot, and it's packaged amazingly. And that takes us to the current arc of the manga, where I'm so happy because it's coming to a natural conclusion, but I hate the fact that I'm just now catching up, and I'm just now getting to experience this greatness unfold with the rest of you guys watching this. We actually get connection because of after Chizaki is dead, we get some time in the actual present to connect with these versions of our characters that are finally happy. The goal is complete, and this is when it really kicks in that those connections that Takemichi was making, it impacted him more than anything else could have, because now he has a burning sensation to save Mikey, because Mikey's darkness comes from within, which it's so amazing. It's so amazing how everything leads to this, despite us, the readers, Takemichi, the protagonist, and everyone else in the story believing differently until the final arc. And here we are faced with it, and also Draken's death. And it tells us that this is the finale. This is the final closing. The story's not playing around. It's taking no prisoners. It's not interested in carrying things on because they just got an anime adaptation. Every main character in the story knows about time travel, knows about this back and forth that Takemichi is doing, this weight that Mikey took on for the sake of everybody, and they're about to know Draken is gone and it's the end game. Because of that, it's opening up way too many possibilities for the ending of the series that I've fallen in love with in such a short time, and it's so good to so many. You see, I'm gonna get a little bit personal here. Mikey is a character that I can somewhat relate to. Of course, I've never been in a situation of gang wars and street fighting, or even the martial arts aspect of his background, or the idea of having a sibling even, and having your sibling be such an important part in a world that you are now thrust into. But the aspect of taking other people's pain and pressure and accepting all of that onto yourself and smiling like there's no tomorrow to cheer up everyone else and take the grunt of all their bullshit, and take the grunt of all the situations dealing around you at face value, take it on the chin, suck it up, and smile for another day because you're strong enough, because you think that you're strong enough. And if you think that you aren't, then you'll break into something that you don't want to see yourself become. And because of that, you distance yourself away from everyone so they don't see that part of you. I can somewhat understand that. This is something that I've done over the past couple years of my life. It's separating myself from situations that, frankly, I believed that I was making worse for other people involved. And because of that, Mikey's character hits me on the level that I don't believe it hits a lot of people. Or maybe it does, and that's why this series is so beloved by so many, and why it sucks and will suck to see it go. To end off this video, as I promised, I have an announcement that I'd like to make. I'll repeat it for the next couple, maybe 3 videos, whether it be quick videos or actual videos like this. I'll just get on with it. Essentially, this channel will be making no more basketball content for the foreseeable future. I apologize to anyone who has come here to this channel from an NBA video, and specifically that Bucks video, as it's blown up. But the type of content that I want to make, I can't come up with ideas like that on a daily or on a weekly basis that other people haven't already done in the NBA community. So for that reason, and my increasing love for general and nerdy anime, comic adaptations, and just weird shit, and my inability to consume NBA games like I want to in order to make consistent good content for you guys, it would just be better for me and the channel to double down on my media analysis and my nerdy anime comic type videos for the sake of growth of the channel. If you hope to hear my opinions on basketball, I'll be on Twitter talking a lot about things in the NBA world and the NBA community. And if this channel continues to grow at a certain rate, hopefully in the future I'll be able to make a second channel or just stream in the future where, of course, I talk about my love for basketball and the NBA and all things NBA related. But as for now, I have to do what's best for myself and the channel, and that is going forward focusing on anime related content and other things of that sort. So once again, if you came here from an NBA video, or if you came here from Let's Keep It a Buck and you're expecting basketball content, I do apologize, but I won't be making that on this channel anymore. I hope that you understand my decision, you respect it. If you wish to unsubscribe, I also respect that. But if you're also looking forward to more videos, subscribe, leave a like, comment, turn on notifications if you want to be alerted. I wouldn't say that. Just look in your sub box. I'm sorry to you guys who, once again, coming from that or expect that from me. But I gotta do what's best for the channel, and this is what I feel like I'm best at, and look forward to more videos like this in the future. Hope that y'all have a good day. I'll catch y'all next time, and peace.